And as you may be aware, we are fast approaching 2024 and the season is heating up. But what's the right time to choose a running mate? A year or some months to an election? This question has become paramount because former President John Dramani Mahama says the NDC will choose its running mate for the next election in 2024. This is in response to calls from some traditional authorities in the Sunafon South area for him to consider their MP, Eric Opoku, for the position. Already, the Queen Mother of the Bono Traditional Council made similar calls for a Bono native to be chosen for that role. Well, Mr. Mahama, one of his public engagements in the Ahafo region, said the party is looking forward to taking that decision next year.
Senya amamresi da hono yamanyo kono so ekwan eda ho a yede yi ye nipa a gina bebi a yede nipa no beto presidential candidate and national executive and council of elders ye na ene yede yetibom na ye yi nipa ye friend running mate na sa dwumedie no enya afi ne be no afi eba ena yebe yi sa nipa no enti emre no duru ho a mo dem nko so mbom pae na mo ko so mbom pae ne se nyabe na si hene enti yebe hwe ne anyam beye medam wase.
Well, basically saying that the party has a time when it makes these decisions, and once that decision is made, the person will be outdoors. He ended by asking that, they should look up to God and see what God will do, or see what the Lord will do. We've been joined by political scientist Dr. Asa Santiv for more on this. Good morning for your time once again, Doc. The lobbying has started, even on the other side of the New Patriotic Party. When you get onto social media, people who love the party, who support the party, have begun putting up pictures, one or two here, throwing their support behind certain personalities. We've got just about a year to the December 7 elections in 2024. Would you say that it is the right time to let the people know who the running mates of these flag bearers are? Is it even relevant at all?
Hello.
Hi, Doc.
Yeah, Bennett.
Right. Did you hear my question, please?
No.
No, I was asking, I was just basically talking about the fact that the lobbying has started, even on social media. We see people putting up photos of certain personalities, especially in the NPP. They believe that they would be a good option for running mates for the party. But I'm asking, we've just got barely a year, just about a year to the December 7 elections in 2024. Would you say it is even relevant to start having that conversation now?
It is relevant because you want to see the whole team put together and champion the cause of campaign to win the election. So people are interested so that they know what is it that is in store for them.
Right. Doc, previously people had actually suggested that we know running mates before we even select who a flag bearer should be, because they believe that it is so critical and important that if we know who you are pairing with, it may or may not influence whether people will choose you or not. But once they choose you and then you make a decision, well, they can't have much a say about that. There are others who've actually gone beyond the running mate to suggest that we actually should know who your key ministers will be before a major election, because all those influence our outlook on what your agenda and vision is and whether you'll be able to execute it as you say.
I think all these questions are legitimate, but if you ask me, from my point of view, some of them are unnecessary. That you want to know who the ministers will be, you want to know the running mate before even the flag bearer is selected. These are unnecessary. They are just overstretching matters. But it's important to state here and now that, yes, the running mate factor is critical for a number of reasons. That you want to know who will pair with the president if that individual wins the election to become the president. You want to know how popular is he, how competent is he, does he have what it takes to rub shoulders with anybody who emerged victorious as also running mate from other political parties. And above all, you want somebody who could step into the shoes of the president in case we don't have the president anymore.
Right.
So these are some of the considerations. And once you are talking about the vice president, you are talking about the second highest office on the land. And so obviously, people will begin to just look for positions and all that. It's normal. But these things are selected based on a certain tactical consideration. You don't want to go and pick the candidate from a place that your party is not popular. You are just wasting your time. You are not going to achieve anything. So you always play around your strongholds and swing areas to make impressions. Even though we have not seen any scientific study on what votes do, running mates bring to the table, but we are also aware that it's a very important factor in deciding who people vote for during elections. So
right.
This discussion is critical at this time.
So there are some who say in making a defense for Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, when anyone raises the argument about his involvement in this government and how this government has not lived up to expectation and that it may affect him, well, they say he's not the captain of the ship. They say that he doesn't have the ultimate responsibility. Does that not then suggest that, it may not necessarily be that these running mates are very influential, apart from the fact that when the president is not available, or if something happens, unfortunately, like it happened with former President Mills, the person will have to be the president. Do we see vice presidents being given enough opportunity to make decisions within the government structure? There are some who've even suggested that this vice president has been sidelined by his own government.
I have no knowledge as to whether he's being sidelined or not, because I'm not part of their party and I don't know what goes on. But what I know is that before Aka's incident with Rawlings, the vice president position was very powerful. He had a lot of functions until that differences came, and then they amended and reduced the vice president position considerably. From that time onwards, the vice president position has been reduced. If you look at vice president position all over the world, the vice president takes instructions from the president. But with the reduction of the vice president position, his powers have come down so drastically. But there is nothing wrong with the president saying that I'm going to give you a lot of work to do so as to tap what is under your sleeves and make my government better. That is what we saw under Ecuador, who gave all information about the vice president, about his competence and the rest of them. So one would have thought that given all that he has said about him and all that, we are going to see much in terms of what economic improvement and all that. The story of the economy today is too open for all of us to see, so I don't want to belabor the point. So those who are arguing that we don't even need that, he can be his own man and the rest of them, they are legitimate questions. But we need a vice president. We need, in other words, we need a running mate who, when his party wins the election, will become the vice president. And we can tax that person to do a lot of work. This vice president that we have, in spite of all the noise he made about the economy and all that, and given the fact that we are where we are in terms of our economic, forward march, then there are more questions for him to answer on the day of war campaign and the rest of them. But that is not to suggest that we don't need a vice president. We need a vice president for very good reasons, which I have already alluded to.
You made a point about what influences a party's decision on who a running mate should be, talking about where their stronghold is, what they're likely to get from that person's home region. I've seen, for example, on social media, people advocating a certain personality in the NPP because they believe he's a strong Ashanti, he has links to Menchia, and he can garner votes within the Ashanti region to complement what they believe Dr. Bawumia will bring on the table. But do you think that we should still be playing up the gender card here? We know last year the NDC went with the choice of a female as a running mate. Should these two parties be really considering that at this point?
Why do you think we don't need women? I would have loved to see even women in all positions. Men have taken charge for a very long time. If we should have all women affairs, why not? It brings the best. Women can contribute their quota effectively towards the development of this country. If anybody doesn't know that, about that, that is his or her own problem. But I believe women are equally competent and even more competent than some men and the rest of it. It's natural. So I want to see more women into positions of authority. But these things, it's not just gender per se. There are a lot of factors that go into it. So beyond gender, there are other factors. You can go and pick a male or female. But if the person is not competent, of course, you are wasting your own time. If the person is not popular, just for gender's sake, no, it will not bring you anything. So this position, you consider based on a number of good reasons and it's for tactical reasons. Once you bring the person, you know that at least you are sure of certain success in certain areas of political life. And that is the strategy. So the gender can fine, but other considerations are also important. If you weigh all of them, you'll be able to know the right candidate to put out. At the end of the day, all that we want is a human being who will be able to deliver the public good.
Doc, finally, I mean, you are a political scientist. You work within this space. Are there any names that have come to your attention from both sides? Whether it is through what people are saying publicly. Anything you'd like to say about that before we wrap up?
Oh, yes. People have mentioned names like Professor Jean Nana Pukwa-Champong. Pukwa-Jaman, sorry. We have heard names like Mr. Deborah. We have heard names like Kojo Poku and the rest of them. They are all competent, but I believe that some of these we can say a number of them. We can say things about them, how good they are, but the real decision lies with the party and then the flag bearer when they put their heads together and based on their research findings about who is suitable for this position. Remember, this election is not just done for the sake of it. They go to the field, take data, talk to people, and then they do all their analysis and computation. So the one who is fit for the job is the one they select. I will support anybody who will be able to deliver the goods in any political party. But at the end of the day, we want that person, when he takes over, he will be a good addition to the party's choice. That is the way to go.
I appreciate your time this morning. That's Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. He's a political scientist with the University of Ghana, Legon. This is your election headquarters. Stay with us. We will be bringing you more on elections as the season gets heated up ahead of the 2024 elections.